Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for watching our 2024 school year info session. So, applications are just about to open. We are in October right now. Applications will open in November. So, we're just about to open applications. So, it's really good to watch our video to learn about our program and hear about some of the mistakes that students make. So this is the agenda for today. This is what we're going to discuss in this video. Everything is not on here, but trust me, we're going to discuss all of these and more. So before we get started, let's talk about how we can stay connected because that's what friends do. And that's what we are. We're friends. So it's good that we stay connected. Now, we are everywhere. We're even on YouTube, right? And I'm sure that's where you're watching this video. So if you want to reach out to us, you can reach out to us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and most definitely through email at contact@dhscholarship.org. The quickest way to get a response to your questions, if I should say, or if I do say, is through Instagram. So if you have any quick questions, if you have questions that are really, I would say, require some attention, then I would suggest that you send it through email. But if you have any quick questions and you're just wondering if you could get an answer quickly, you can send it through our social media pages. So before we get started, let me go ahead and introduce myself. So my name is Sarah. I am the program director for Dream Hive Scholarship, and I'm sure you and I have interacted if number one, you have ever sent us an email, number two, you have left a comment or DM'd us on social media. I'm not the only one who responds, but I'm part of the team that responds. So I'm sure we have met. So like I mentioned, I am the program director at Dream Hive Scholarship. I am very, very passionate about access to quality education, access to technical education, and access to opportunities, especially when it comes to Ghanaian students. So, we don't have to talk about the scholar and team member shout out since this is not the live session. If you are on the live session, then you got to see some of our scholars. But even then, we're still going to go ahead and talk about some testimonials in a later slide. So let's discuss some upcoming events. So like I mentioned, we are right now in October, and in October we have a second information session that is going to be scheduled and is going to be happening. The first info session was very much about our program, talking about what we offer, the benefits, and then answering some questions. The second info session that is going to be on October 21st is going to focus mainly on essay writing. So, how to craft your essay, how to plan, how to outline it, how to write your essay, how to format it, and all of those things. We'll also leave some time for students to ask their questions, whether it's essay related or not. You're free to ask your questions. So please join us to learn about how you can craft a perfect essay for our applications. And then we are going to be having a third info session, which will be a mixture of the first and the second. And we'll leave a lot of time for students to ask last minute questions and get some things clarified right before the application opens on November 6th. So on November 6th, all of our applications, including the high school scholarship, college scholarship, and even our mentorship program applications will go ahead and open on the 6th. And we are planning on having one more event before this scholarship season is over. We don't have a name for it, and we haven't picked because we do have a lot of ideas on the event that could be helpful to students. As soon as we select the type of meeting we want to have or the type of event we want to have, we will announce it. We will update this chart, and it will no longer be called Wild Card, and you guys will be notified about it. The deadline for our scholarship this year, or for this next school year, which is 2024, will be January 6th, 2024. So, moving on, let's go ahead and look at some student testimonials. Before we get started, let me do say that these are not all the testimonials that we have, and I'm not going to read through all the testimonials. So, first one is from Jafta. Jafta is a student at KNUST. He joined our program in 2023, and this is what he has to say about Dream Hive Scholarship. He says, Dream Hive Scholarship isn't just an isn't just an opportunity. It's a life transforming experience waiting to happen. Imagine having a scholarship team by your side, not just providing financial aid, but also unwavering academic support during your crucial university years. Thank you, Jafta. This is from Max. Max is a pharmacy student at UDS, and this is what he has to say. He has to say that he encourages each and every applicant to make use of the opportunity and be exposed to the opportunities in the world because you will never regret it. Thank you so much, Max. We have one from Bright, and he says, Dream Hive doesn't provide you with just tuition fees. Your personal development is one of their priorities. And we have so many more to share. But we're going to move on for the sake of time, and we're going to talk about the scholarship program. So, our scholarship program started in 2021. And one of our aims, or what students will consider our main aim, is that we provide financial support and mentorship to students in Ghana. But for us, our biggest aim and the biggest thing that we do is preparing students for the global job market. And we do this by making use of every single opportunity that we have to teach and foster professional development. We engage our students in skill learning and skill sharpening meetings and share a wider range of resources for them. And adding on to our program, let me mention that till date, we have over 21 amazing students, and we're hoping to add more. So let's talk about where our students are. We have so many students. Where are they? We have students from the northern part of Ghana attending UDS and SDD UBIT. We have students who attended Accra Technical University. We have students in Koforidua. We have students in Sunyani attending UNE. We have students in Ashanti region attending KNUST. We have students in Cape Coast. We have students attending University of Ghana, and we're hoping to increase the hive and add more buzz to our hive. So let's talk about our mentorship program. Our mentorship program started officially last year, where we added 4 mentees to our program. Now, the thing about mentees is they do not receive scholarship, but aside the scholarship bit, they do receive and participate in everything that we do. So they get to attend all the weekly meetings, they get to participate in all of our activities when we're given free things like free t-shirts, free gifts, anything that we would do for our scholars who received and receive scholarships, we do for our mentees. The only thing is that they do not receive scholarship. But let me do mention that we don't accept a lot of mentees, so we won't be accepting more than 5 mentees as we did last year, right? So please, please, please make sure that you submit your applications on time and make sure that your applications are thorough if you're interested in this type of program. So, like I mentioned, our mentorship program is different from our scholarship program. This program has a different application and will also be opening on November 1st. And like I mentioned before, it is very competitive because we select only a handful of students. Now, before we get started talking about our scholarship program and sharing tips and tricks and all kinds of stuff, let's go ahead and talk about some quick things that we should note down. All right. So, we do not charge anybody before they get to apply into our program. Our application is virtual 100%. Every single application that we have, everything that we do, all of our meetings are all virtual. And that is because we want to make it easy for students to get access to things. So when applications open, we won't ask you to pay any fees, we won't ask you to give anybody money. So if anybody ever approach you, whether virtual or physical, and ask you to pay any money before they get you an application, it's a lie. We also don't have physical applications. So if anybody says, give me money and I will print anything for you, that would be a lie too, because everything is virtual and it's 100% free. Another thing is just talking to us on social media page or talking to us via email does not guarantee scholarship. We cannot, by the words of our mouth, tell you, and we will not ever tell you that you've received a scholarship because you shared some information with us. That is not how it works. If you want to be considered for a scholarship, you have to apply to our program. And if your application is well done, and if your application is great and it's what we're looking for, then we invite you for an interview. And after your interview, we do verifications and all kinds of stuff. And when we see, or when we conclude that your application is great and is what we're looking for, then we go ahead and award you. Nobody ever skips a step in this program. Nobody ever gets a chance to just get a scholarship without even filling an application form. That is not what happens. So please, if you're interested in our program, never think that you can just cut corners, or that we're just going to award you anything because you sent an email through our DMs or through email. You have to go through the process just like anybody else. All right, so let's talk about some benefits of our program. The first and the biggest benefits to our students, of course, is the tuition. Last year, we offered and we introduced a partial scholarship program where students are able to get partial scholarship. And of course, we also cover 100%, of tuition and fees for select students. So not everybody get the 100%, but we do the partial scholarship because it helps us to keep more students in school and give more students a chance to finish their education and get their degrees. The next thing that I want us to note is that we only cover tuition and fees. We don't cover accommodation. We don't cover room and board. We don't cover your feeding. We don't cover any cost beyond your tuition and fees. But the next benefit that our program offers to our students is mentorship. So every single week in our program, we have a meeting for at least 2 hours where students get to learn a skill, and we'll share some of the skills that we learn. But students get to learn a skill, and they get to also work on themselves as well. Another type of mentorship that we offer aside the weekly meetings is our Big Little program that started last year. We're planning on refining it, and it's coming back and even stronger next year. So we'll continue with our Big Little program. And for that, I would say that it's a little bit easier to get paired with a mentor when you're in a technical program, but we will continue to refine our program and make it better for all the students that we have. So, these are some of the resources that we provide, and this is also an additional benefit that we provide. We provide job list for students to search for internships and full-time opportunities. We provide interview prep resources and interview prep sessions as well. We provide resume lessons in our Resume RX program. We provide Lead Code Premium for our technical people who want to go ahead and prepare for the technical interviews. We curate lists and lists of courses and resources to share with our students. And our students are leaders of their own. They always find resources and share it with other students in the Hive. So it's a pretty amazing program that we have. These are some of the weekly meetings that we've held in the past. This does not include everything, but this just shows you the kind of things that we're into. So last year, or this year, I should say, in 2023, we had a general theme of business accelerator where our students got to, in groups, they got to come up with a business idea and work through it with a technological solution. We're coming back next year with this same thing, but it will be refined, it will be different, and it will be even more fun, and students will be able to learn even more. We also held technical interview prep, behavioral interview preparation sessions. We also have resume building, because we teach about customer service, leadership, how to be professional, growth, money management, so many more, right? We can't list all of them, but we teach so many things that are all for the sake of preparing you guys for the global job market. Another thing that we do that I think is very unique to our program, and even if other scholarship programs don't do it a lot, and isn't very common, is our work study slash internship program. So you remember that I said we have over 21 students. Our work study program only takes in 2 students, right? So it's very competitive. It's positions are very limited. So work study is a chance for students to work while they're in school to make money. And what is cool about work study is you make money, you learn, you work with the organization, which is Dream Hive Scholarship, but we make your schedule based on your schedule. So we're not going to make you work during class hours. The work is the work is made to fit your school schedule. So it's made with your school schedule in mind. So you never have to sacrifice class time or study time to do this work. And we mostly pick students on breaks. So when they go home for the summer or when they are on a break for 2 weeks or something, it's just something to help students make a little bit more money and also gain some skills that they can put on their resume. So now that we know a little bit about our program, let's talk about who is eligible for our program. So if you are a current university student who is attending a 4-year university, who is attending a public university, or if you're a high school student who just graduated and is about to enter university and will be attending a public university and pursuing a 4-year degree, then you are welcome to apply to our student. And the degree that you're pursuing has to be your first degree, which is a bachelor's degree. You can't be pursuing a master's degree or doctor's degree because those students are not eligible. So, another group of students who are not eligible is fee paying students. Unfortunately, our program does not have space for fee paying students, students pursuing graduate degrees like master's or PhD or anything beyond that. Students who are in private universities are not eligible, and students who are pursuing degrees that are less than 4 years are not eligible. If you're pursuing any type of medical course, usually those courses are more than 4 years in Ghana, they are also eligible. As long as your program is 4 or more years and you're pursuing bachelor's degree, you are eligible to apply to our program for consideration. On our website, one of the things that we mention is priority. We mentioned that we'll give priority to students who are pursuing STEM based courses. And we even make mention of some very specific programs. This confuses some students, and we get questions like, so am I eligible if I'm pursuing a business course? If am I eligible if I'm pursuing this course or that course? And the answer is as long as you meet the eligibility criteria that we just discussed a few seconds ago, you are eligible, right? If you meet those criterias, then you are eligible to apply into our program. What priority means is that if two students apply to our program, and let's say it's you and I'm student A, you're student B. I'm pursuing a political science degree and you are pursuing computer science degree. Let's say that we both perform the same through all the rounds. We get selected, we go to our interviews, and we both perform the same. At the end of the day, our performance is about at, for example, 80% mark. You are going to get selected because you are a computer science student and we perform the same. That is not to say that if I perform, I, who is pursuing a political science degree, if I perform at a higher level, like let's say I get 85 and you perform at a 70, that you're going to get picked over me. That's not how priority works. Priority only kicks in when two students on the same level, two students perform on the same level and one is pursuing a STEM based degree and the other one isn't. That's how priority works. That is not to say that we are going to randomly pick two students who are on the opposite side of this scale, one pursuing art degree and one pursuing a technical degree and plays. No, that's not how it works. We grade students and we order it from students who score the highest to the lowest, and then we select, right? So the only time that we're going to pick somebody over you is if you guys perform kind of similar or the same, and but one is, a STEM based student and the other one isn't. But even then, if that is not the last set of students, then I'm sure you'll get into our program. And to drive this home, let me mention that we have students pursuing pharmacy, we have students pursuing um, We have students pursuing political science. We have students pursuing agricultural business. We have students pursuing agricultural science. So that tells you that as long as you do really well, you can get into our program. And priority, even though it is something that exists, isn't such a big deal. The other thing is that students ask us sometimes, so does that mean you only accept computer science or computer engineering or any of the courses listed here? No, this is just a few of the courses that we could mention because we can't fit everything on this page. So just apply for consideration. It's really that simple. So we just took some time to explain priority, but let me just go ahead and further explain it even more. So just because we say that STEM-based students are on the priority list does not mean that if you do any type of shabby job and apply with any type of application, we will pick you. You still have to do really well. And just because you're not pursuing a course that is um, on the priority list, just because you're not on that list or just because your course is not on that list does not mean that you cannot be considered or that you're not getting. Again, we have students pursuing agricultural business, agricultural science, political science, pharmacy, and all kinds of other degrees. So there's that. Next, let's go ahead and talk about our application process. So, like I mentioned earlier on, students have to apply. You fill out your application online. Applications are not yet out. So, we will go ahead and notify students on our newsletter, which you should join on our website if you haven't already done so. And we will also have this link all over our social media pages. So students will fill out the application and then we will review their applications and invite students for interviews. If we think you're good, your application is wholesome, we'll invite you for an interview. And then we'll do some verification on our end to verify that the information that you provided us is true, that there is no falsification of information, and that you are even a real person, right? And then the next step is that we will notify students who are selected, and students have to accept their award. What happened in previous years is sometimes you pick a student and they have won the scholarship and they do not select the award. They do not accept the scholarship award. And if you don't accept it before the deadline, then you will not receive any scholarship, right? After students accept their award, they will attend the ceremony, their fees will get paid, and then sometimes their fees are paid before the ceremony. So, when it comes to paying your fees, we never hand students the fees because we have people in Ghana or we have someone in Ghana who makes payments on the behalf of the students. Okay, on behalf of the students, not on behalf of the students, right? And fees are only paid after we verify information. So, at any point in our application process, we are going to be, you know, at all points, actually at all points we're going to be verifying information. And so if at any point we find that you falsified information, we hold the right and we reserve the right to revoke your award and take you out of our program, right? So going to interview does not guarantee a scholarship. Receiving the first email that says that you can schedule an interview with us does not guarantee a scholarship. The only thing that guarantees a scholarship and verifies that you have received a scholarship is after we've made payment and you are in our program. But even then, if you get into our program and later on we find that you falsified information, yes, you can still be taken out of our program. So let's say that you got in. Yay. Now what? So now you're trying to figure out, how do I reapply into this program? Is reapplication even necessary at all? At all. So, no, reapplication into our program is not required if you meet the grade requirement. And we will discuss the grade requirements in a minute or two. But if you attend all of our meetings, meet all the grade requirements, then you don't need to apply. But if you don't meet the grade requirement or you don't attend all of our meetings, then you might have to reapply. And for our mentorship program, if you attend all of the meetings, no reapplication is needed. And if you don't attend all the meetings or lose your spot due to any sort of reason, then you might have to reapply for consideration. So this is our grading scale. We have it in green, yellow, and red. So green is for sure, you're good, relax, no reapplication needed. So we ask that students don't have more than 4 C's or grades that are below C in a year, right? So if you get D plus and you get everything else is A, you're already in the yellow because you got a grade that wasn't C or more, right? So that is a problem. We ask our students to get no more than 4 C's and no grades that are below a C, right? So if you are able to get A, B, C pluses or C's less than four or four or less, then you are in the green. You don't have to worry when you go to the next academic year. We're going to go ahead and just pay for your fees. You don't have to do anything, right? But if you get more than 4 C's or you got C minus or D plus or any grade that is in the yellow, then you might not receive a full scholarship, or you might have to reapply into a program in general, depending on the grades that you're bringing in. And if you got any of these grades, such as D, D minus, E, Fs, anything, then you probably have to apply because you're in the red, right? So, like I mentioned, to stay in our program, students can't have 4 grades that are below C's, or let me that's wrong. To stay in our program, students have to make no more than 4 C's, right? So if you make all A's, good, all B's, good, all C pluses, good, right? But if you get more than 4 C's in the whole school year, then there's a problem. So let's say first semester you made 3 C's, and then the next semester you make 2 C's. There's a problem because that's 5 C's, right? Let's say the first semester you make 3 C's and the next semester you make one more C. That's okay because you're still in there, right? You didn't go over the four. Let's say you made all A's but you got one D. That's a problem because there is one grade that is below a C. So again, no more than 4 C's and no grade at all that is below a C. So let's talk about our application. Our application is broken into sections. There are 5 sections, and the first section is your personal information. So we ask for the things on the screen, such as your name, date of birth, gender, email, and all of these things. Some of the common mistakes that we see, the biggest one is with spelling mistakes. People abbreviate things even when you tell them not to. People will not type in their full name, or they will type in their aliases or their guy names, as they call it in Ghana, right? And that is wrong, right? And another thing that we see is wrong email. The only way that we can contact you to notify you that you have received a scholarship from us is by emailing you. So if you type in the wrong email, even if you get selected, you might never know because we don't have another way to reach out to you. And that's going to be a problem. Next section on our application is the academic information. This is where you put in your school name, the level, the course of study, GPA, your graduation, and all of these great things, right? And some of the common mistakes that we see is people abbreviate their school names. If you're in Ghana, the likelihood that you know what KNUST is very high, but we're not all in Ghana, right? And so we don't all know the abbreviations of the different universities in Ghana, right? Make it easy. Make it very easy for us to know what your school name is. If we're asking you to type in the full name of the school, don't abbreviate it, right? Don't select the wrong level. If you're level 200 going to 300, then you're not a level 200 student. You're a level 300 student, right? Because when school starts, you're not going to be in level 200. So you're going to go ahead and put level 300 and not 200, all right? When we're talking about your GPA, if your school is on a CWA system, where the grades are in between 0 and 100, you can put that. You can put 70 or whatever your CWA is. You don't have to convert it to a GPA scale. But if your school uses a GPA system, then please go ahead and use the GPA. And don't round your GPA. If your current your current grade point average is 2.5, don't round it to 3. This is GPA grading. It's not like how we do in math, okay? Don't round anything. Also, for high school students, one of the mistakes that we see is that they put the wrong report date. So high school students have to go to school at a certain time. And so sometimes they put the wrong date, right? Don't put the wrong date, because this will cause a lot of problems, and a lot of miscommunication can happen because of this. Next section of our application is the essay section. Now, I'm not going to read through the essay prompts, because we're going to have second info session dedicated just to the essay prompts and answering questions around this. So I'm not going to read it. But what we are going to do is to discuss some of the common mistakes that we see on the essay section. The biggest mistake that students make on this section is not understanding the prompt correctly. The prompt are the question that we're asking you, the things that we're asking you to write the essay based on. People don't understand it, and they go ahead and write any sort of essay and just submit it. That is not how it's supposed to be. If you don't understand the prompt, you're supposed to email and ask for clarification. Send us a message on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, wherever. Ask us for clarification and tell us that you need clarification, right? But students don't do that. They don't ask for clarification, they don't understand the prompt, and they just write any type of essay. The second most common mistake that we see students making, it's not meeting the word count. Some students are under the notion that if they just use big font sizes, that they can fool us into thinking that they've met the word count. That's not how it works. Only one of our essays asks for word count, and that is 500 or more words. But some students don't meet this word count. A lot of students don't meet this word count. And it is crucial that if a scholarship program is asking you to meet a word count, that you meet it and even sometimes exceed it. All right. Sometimes students give vague answers. They have bad grammar on edited essays and they submit these things. Very, very bad. Some students who plagiarize and cheat by copying essays from online or copying pieces of essays from online and adding it to the application. We use software to detect this. And if we detect that part of your essay or all of your essay is from somebody else's written work from online, then we are going to go ahead and ban you from our program. You will no longer be considered for the school year that you're applying for consideration in, and forever and ever and ever, right? So don't do it. And by the way, ChatGTP work is very easy to detect. If you write your essays with AI tools or AI bots, it's easily detectable. So don't do it to yourself. The next set of common mistakes that we see is students not demonstrating how they will use their degree. One of our essay questions asks how you can use your degree to support yourself. And students are not able to nail this home, right? They're not able to tell us how they will use the degree that they want us to fund to better themselves. If you're going to school to get a degree. You're not going to school to get the degree for the sake of getting a degree. You're going to school to get a degree because you're going to use that degree to better your life, hopefully. So if somebody asks you why they should pick you and how you're going to use your degree to better yourself and you cannot explain, then the question is, are you even planning on using your degree? And what is your motive for getting the degree that you're getting? How are you going to use the degree? If you can't answer that, then we have a problem that stems deeper than the problem that we're asking you to write about. And that is some of the problems that we see. That is one of the biggest mistakes that we see, students not being able to demonstrate that the degree that they want us to pay for is good and that they can use it to better their lives. Section 4 of application is all about files. So we're asking you to upload your CV or your resume. We're asking you to put your transcript or your what's the result if you're a high school student. We're asking you to show your fees and add any other documents that you feel like can better your application. And as you can see, these are the things that we ask from high school students, and these are the things that we ask from college students. The next part is the mistakes that we see. People sometimes they will upload blurry documents. They will take pictures of documents, and the document is cut off. We don't see their name on the document. It's cropped off unnecessarily. They're showing their fees, but they're not showing, they haven't highlighted or circled their specific fees. And we have to dig through files and online links after links to try to find how much they owe in order to make payments. That is not going to fly. That doesn't fly. Again, it is a mistake, and you need to make sure that you're avoiding such mistakes. Next and last section of application is the verification and authorization. And this is just the part where you put your emergency contact and also verify that the information that you have provided us is correct and that you are telling the truth about everything. Now, one thing that I can say is if you don't provide the emergency contact, it can be viewed as falsifying information, because if you can't reach the emergency contact, then there's a problem. And this is supposed to be somebody that we can reach out to if we don't hear from you, or if something, God forbid, something happened to you, we can reach out to them and know your whereabouts. It's not for bad reasons. We just want to make sure that we can always check on you and make sure that you're safe and that you're good and you have everything that you need. So we're not asking for this so that we can come arrest you or do anything bad. We're asking you for this information so that, one, we know that somebody that you know knows us as well, and that we also know somebody that knows you, so that we can always make sure that you're okay and everything is going well. So now that we've spoken about our application in great detail, let's go ahead and discuss how we can get into the Hive. So one of the biggest part of our application is the essay portion, and I'm sure it is the same for many scholarship programs and many other programs around the world. So the essays are graded based on all of these things. We grade essay based on your understanding of the prompt and answering the prompt correctly, and then meeting the word count, your grammar, your spelling, your formatting, the content relevance, how you're addressing the prompts, like I mentioned, coherence, and all of those things. So let's go ahead and go through some essay advice. Now, I'm not going to go through these in detail because of the sake of time, but also because if you attend our second information session, you will be able to really learn a lot more, about these and many more things. So when you're writing your essay, the biggest thing that you should pay attention to is the prompt, because if you don't understand the prompt, it won't matter how well your essay is crafted. You will actually not get selected because you wouldn't have answered the prompt at all. So it's very important that you understand the prompt. And if you don't understand it, we ask that you reach out to us, even if it's not a scholarship and it's another scholarship. This information that we're given right now it can be applied to any program at all, right? Not just our program. So if you don't understand something, we just ask that you just reach out and say, can you please explain this to me? And I'm telling you, I promise you that we will, and other programs as well, they will take time and explain the prompt to you until you understand it, because they want you to have a fair shot at getting into their program, as do we. The next thing is planning your essay. We can tell when students rush through their essays. We can tell when essays are not well thought out and well planned. So please outline your essay, plan it, because it will make it so much easier to write your essay, but it also shows, we can tell, right? And then the next thing is telling compelling stories. Some people always think that they have to tell some grass to grace type of stories on their essays. That's not true. Just tell your story. If you have a grass to grace story, cool, tell it. But if you don't, that's okay. Just tell your story, right? And this is really prevalent, especially on the parts where we're asking you to tell how you overcame something, right? Just tell your story. There's no need to lie. There's no need to create any. We're not here to write movies, right? We're not here to shock and create shock value. We're here to just tell our stories, right? The next part is going off topic. Students have a tendency of going way off topic when they're writing their essays. Please bring it back. If you're going to share and elaborate on certain parts of your essay or certain parts of your story, always have a plan to draw it back to the prompt and draw it back to the plan and the outline that you have in your essay and how you're writing your essay. Next thing is being authentic and telling your own story. And I think I've touched on this a lot. So let's go ahead and address the big dictionary word part. So students feel like they have to use words that even they can't pronounce so that they can impress somebody. That is not how it works. Use the plain Jane words. Just tell your story and have a great essay, and I promise you, you will get in. The next part is addressing the so what. I'm going to skip through some of these so you'll notice that. The next part is addressing the so what, right? And that is what we discuss. You need to be able to tell us how you're going to use your degree. Yes, you're getting a degree. So what? How are you going to use it, right? Answer the question. How are you going to be able to use your degree to create a better life for yourself, right? So if you're not able to answer that question, you're kind of losing, you're losing your reader because that's what the prompt is about. Next thing is editing your essay. A lot of students will send in essays that are not revised properly, or the essays have typos, grammatical errors, punctuation errors, all kinds of errors, right? And that is bad. It looks bad. Make sure that you're editing your essay because sometimes it's really hard to read, right? It's really hard to understand what the student is saying because it's not edited correctly. So, again, seeking feedback is important, but ChatGTP is not your friend because ChatGTP is not able to write essays and attach human emotions to the essay, right? We are very unique. And that's why chatbots are not humans, right? Because humans are able to attach emotions and write emotional pieces and write essays that have the right tones, right? And depicts the tones that they want to depict. Chatbots are not able to do that, or you just have to work so hard to get them to do that, and even then it's not perfected, right? So please save yourself the headache and use the right things. There are so many grammar checking softwares. There's Grammarly, that is my favorite, and I recommend it to students year after year after year, right? So please, you can check out Grammarly. There's Chegg or Chegg. There's so many more out there that is just free. You can use it to edit your essay. You don't have to use ChatGTP or any other AI bot. So let's quickly go over some formatting and some last minute advice. So when it comes to formatting, we don't have a formatting template that has gone out, but any essay should follow these type of formats. And that is that you should stick to traditional fonts, stay away from curly fonts and all of these crazy looking things, right? Your font size shouldn't be bigger than 12. You shouldn't go like 20, like why? Your font shouldn't be, I mean, your essay shouldn't be colored. You shouldn't have green words. No, everything should be black. It should look professional. It should look good. When in doubt, use the MLA format. Okay, when in doubt, or when the organization doesn't specify. And again, these advice that I'm giving are not just for our program, but for it applies to many programs out there. So when in doubt, just go with the MLA format when it comes to formatting your essay. Now, make sure that you address the prompt correctly, as I've mentioned over and over again. Start your essays early because then you don't have to rush through it and the essay won't be bad, right? So start early. Avoid unnecessary verbiage, express your ideas clearly, and always submit on time. Don't miss the deadline. Then you have to beg, and we're still not going to open back the applications. So please submit on time, okay? Now, let's go ahead and talk about some writing softwares that you can use. Microsoft Word has a free and paid version. They have an online version that I think is free. And I think if you're a student, you're able to get a free Microsoft Word on your PC or your machine that you're working with. I'm not sure, but it's worth verifying. But if even if they don't offer these things, Google Doc is free for use. You can use it, you can format. It's just like Microsoft Word. You can format your essay, you can do everything that you need to do for free. Don't use Notepad. Some people will write their application on the Notepad app on their phone. That is bad because Google Doc has an app for, I think, for every phone or for every OS that there is. So you don't need to use Notepad or the Notepad app on your phone. It looks bad. You shouldn't do it. Now, we will be posting, and we have started posting a lot of essay tips on our social media pages and even on our website on the resource at the resources section. We have an essay tip sheet attached, essay tip. We have an essay tip um, document attached that you can download and use for free, and it has great tips as well. Now, when it comes to documentation, we ask for resume and some other stuff. For your resume, we have a resume video, so there's no reason why your resume shouldn't look good. We should be seeing really good resumes this year because we have taken time to record a very long video to go over how you should craft your resume. And this is a walk along, right? This is a work and walk along video. So you can work on your resume with us, watch the video, and just go along with it and format your resume. And we also have our Resume RX program that is ongoing, and it's there for students to join and get their resumes edited for free. Right? When it comes to your fees, when it comes to submitting your fees, put the right amount. But if you're submitting the document, the university document that is showing your fees, highlight it or circle it. Make it easy for us to see your fees, please, because this is really, really helpful, right? Because it will help us to figure out how much you need to pay, and we don't have to work so hard just to figure out how much you owe the school. When it comes to your transcript, make sure that your name is on the transcript. Make sure that we're able to see the school name and all of these things. Don't crop unnecessarily. Don't make it look bad. Just put the document that has your name, the school name, and all the other necessary information. When it comes to your transcript, again, you can submit one semester's result, or if your results are going to come, is going to come out before our deadline, you can wait. It's up to you. You can submit with one semester or both. It's up to you. So let's go for some general advice. We recommend that you apply early. Applying early doesn't mean be one of the first people to apply, because that does not count. I mean, we don't consider that as part of the reasons why we pick people, right? We only look at your application. When we say apply early, what we mean is apply before the deadline, right? Get in before the deadline. Don't wait till last minute and then you lose your chance to submit your application. In your application, be concise. Pay attention to details, right? Don't cheat. Don't plagiarize, right? And if you are invited for an interview, please attend it. Don't be late and don't miss it, because there's no rescheduling. We will move on to another applicant because we have a lot of people who are waiting to take your spot, right? And again, let me remind you that application will close the first week of January on January 6th, 2026, 2024. Sorry. So when it comes to our mentorship, we have limited spots. So apply early. Applications for this one will close at the end of January because it's not a requirement to get in school as scholarships are, because you need to make a fee by a certain date or you get kicked out. So our mentorship program will be open for a lot longer than our scholarship program, and there's no interview required. So we've already discussed this, but let's touch on some last minute things. Falsified information will get you kicked out and banned forever. So don't falsify your fees. If it's 2,000, don't put 5,000. We will find out. You really think we just take your information and don't do any verification? That's a lie. All the scholarship programs around the world, or majority of them, do verification, as do we. So please be honest in your application. Don't falsify any information. Don't plagiarize or copy essays from online. Don't get yourself banned, basically. On your essays, please submit complete essays. Please make sure that it's free of all errors or majority of errors, right? Make sure that it's revised and edited. Make sure that your essay is formatted correctly. Margins, color, everything is on point, right? So don't lie. Once again, don't lie. Don't plagiarize. Don't falsify information, because it will get you banned and kicked out. And let's look at this upcoming event calendar one more time. So October 21st, 2023 is our second information session, and this will go over essays. It's majority of the time will be about essays, right? We'll go over essays, how to craft a perfect, or not a perfect, but a very good essay, not just for our scholarship program, but like I said, for many programs, for getting into grad school and all of these things. We'll go over formatting, planning, outlining, writing your essay, some general tips to know, and all of these things, right? November 4th, you have one last chance to join us and ask your last minute questions before we open applications for our scholarship program, mentorship program on November 6th, right? We will have one more event, but we will tell you guys about it when we decide on it. And again, application deadline is January the 6th, 2024. Let's talk about social media again. If you have any questions, the quickest way to get any response from us is via social media because we get a lot of emails, so we're not able to reach everybody. So please send us your questions to our social media pages. We're on Instagram, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Twitter. Send us your questions over there. And that is it. If you have any questions, please go ahead and leave a comment under this video, or you can reach out to us on our social media pages, or you can send us an email. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Until we meet again.